Hey everybody, happy Tuesday night, VertForce fam. It's Tuesday Night Live with Kimber, where we are bringing you the VertForce live show. This is a new series we're doing. We used to do live shows every week, and now in 2020, we are recommitting to Tuesday nights as our official live show night. Tonight, we are covering two segments with you. We're going to be spending a lot of time talking about opportunity alerts, and then we're going to jump into the Resource Rocket segment and give away a free virtual interview course this evening. So I am about to introduce our fabulous guest. And while I'm doing that, I would love to know if you are listening and if you're watching. So what would be great for me and our guest is if you tell us what state you're in, where you're located, and where you're tuning in from tonight. If you'll just drop it in the comments, we would love to hear from you. All right. Who is ready to meet our guest? She has been working with Intuit, crushing hiring goals season after season for TurboTax Live. She's been building the bilingual Spanish recruiting function, and she's been a part of the growth of the team from hiring a few hundred agents to when she started to a few thousand agents now. These are her highlights for working at Intuit. She's been in talent acquisition for 10 years, and she's been supporting Intuit for 5 years. Everybody, please give a warm welcome to Karina Deckard. Hi, Karina.
Hello. Thank you for having me tonight. Appreciate
Girl, we are
it.
so excited to have you on. The opportunities you guys have brought our community in the past several weeks have been incredibly impactful. So we're excited to finally have you on to talk about them.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to check the comments and see who we've got watching tonight. All right, we've got Kirsten from outside Seattle. We've got Stephanie Williams from Jacksonville, Florida. We've got Jennifer Clark. Hey, Stephanie, I'm in Jax too. Actually, we talked earlier today. Jennifer Clark from Fort Worth, Texas. And we're having lots of other comments roll in. So let's start chatting about Intuit, Karina.
Sure. What do you want to know?
So much. I really want to know if you could share with us the Intuit culture. I think I had this big perception of huge company, impossible to break into, maybe even hard to work for because there's so many of you. But when I met you and your team, and I met all of the people who have been helping bring this position to VertForce, I was thinking, these people are so warm and friendly, and they're all working remotely or virtually at some point that I've been working with them. And I just thought it was amazing. So could you share a little bit about the culture and what it's like to work there?
Definitely. I will tell you, first of all, with Intuit, one huge thing about them is that you're not a number. Everything you say matters. You have a say in providing your feedback and input. Your voice is heard. That's something they're really big on, the voice of the customer. Our culture, it is relaxed. I mean, everybody goes in jeans, and our main office in San Diego, I mean, it looks like a resort, first of all. So when you walk through the site, you don't feel like you're in an office space. You feel like you're actually in a resort. I mean, and it just feels good. And that's the culture there, so it's not where you have to be dressed up, but there's so much work that gets done. And because you really feel valued, like you really enjoy your job, and being able to provide your feedback, whether or not, if the business decides, yes, let's go with that's a great idea. The fact of the matter that you got heard, I think that's really huge, and it speaks volume. So, and one thing too that they're really big on is always doing some type of community event. They really encourage you to sign up for volunteer hours for that, if they're really big on giving back to the community. So the fact that you can also create your own idea of how you want to give back to the community, and they're open to it, that really, it means a lot to people. Or there might be, since everybody works remotely, something in my neck of the woods out in the Los Angeles area, they're open to it, and they'll say, go for it. Yes. It's your idea, take it. So
I love that.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's kind of nice to know, like, oh my gosh, that was my idea. I'll take it on.
Yeah. So if you're watching tonight and it's important to you to work for a company who gives back and who creates opportunity and doesn't treat you like a number, give us a thumbs up in the chat and tell us why it's important to you. I know it's important to me. I like to feel that I'm contributing. And I like to also know that I'm working for a company who cares about the greater good. And what I love about Intuit is you can just research their powering is it Powering Prosperity?
Prosperity. Mhm.
Yeah, if you can just research into it, Powering Prosperity, and read about all of the good this organization is doing in the world. And I think you really feel that when you work with the team. I know when I'm working with you and working with your coworkers and strategizing how to bring career opportunities to military spouses, I can really feel that. And it means a lot to me. It makes me feel like, okay, this is a great place to spend my time and energy, a great place for me to start a career.
Definitely.
Yeah. So, on that topic, what do you think about the military spouse demographic and our community? What about this community draws you guys in to help bring your virtual career opportunities our way?
I think the fact that you can do it from home, because I know with military families, you do travel all over. So you're not designated to one location. Like you don't have to be in an office space. So the fact that our remote jobs allows that flexibility, that means a lot for us as well.
Yes.
So I think that's the number one huge thing is having that flexibility to work remotely, as long as you're within the US.
I like that. Awesome. So tell us a little bit about the hiring opportunities with Intuit right now.
Sure. I'll tell you about two specific roles that we're recruiting on. One of them is a QuickBooks Live. We call it QBL. So QuickBooks Live bookkeeper. And I'll tell you with QuickBooks Live, it's really an amazing platform for bookkeepers looking for a part-time gig. Part-time, it can be anywhere between 20 to 29 hours a week, and it is a year-round job. So with that one, those QuickBooks Live bookkeepers, they're helping our customers on a one-on-one basis. The point is to be able to help those small business owners so that way those small business owners can focus on other areas of their business. You're not focusing too much on like the accounting piece of it. You have somebody that's a hired bookkeeper to manage that for you. So that's one of them. And we do provide training, and those positions are also remotely. So all the training is done remotely via like live webs like we're doing right now.
Yeah.
With the QuickBooks one too, since there is a required certificate, Intuit during that training, that'll help you obtain that Pro Advisor certificate. So that's a plus. I mean, what company do you know that during training, while you're getting paid, you're going to get a certification that's really going to be beneficial for the job
Right.
that you're doing?
And
So
that certification is so popular everywhere. It's not
oh yeah,
just an Intuit or QuickBooks Live
correct.
certification.
So that's one of them. And then one of the main ones on TurboTax Live is tax experts. Our tax expert community, I'm going to tell you, is huge. This tax season, our goal is to hire roughly 10,000 tax expert agents. And
Wow.
yeah, so those tax experts, again, they work remotely. They
Uh-huh.
are certified CPA or enrolled agents or practicing attorney. What they do is they're providing tax advice, they're providing, any type of tax review and or signing off on tax returns for our TurboTax customers. And we do want individuals that are certified, because I'll tell you, oftentimes people that use TurboTax, like myself, I'm not a pro, but I don't want to pay the top dollars for a CPA, for example, and I'll be honest. So we'll hire those folks that are credentials, that have that tax expertise to help you out. We have the option where it's just over the phone, or we also do video feeds. So kind of like how we're doing right now, the customer is on the phone on video. Now, we'll tell you that with the video, with the experts, it's a one-way video feed, meaning that the customer sees the agent, but the agent does not see the customer on video. But the customer will have the opportunity to screen share. So that way the tax agent, as they're talking to you and they'll say, Kimber, this is what I can see. They can view your entire TurboTax screen and walk you through the process. Those positions are also, we require a commitment of at least 20 hours a week. You can build up to 40 hours a week. It really just is based on the business needs and the schedules that are available. Once again, it's done remotely. All the training is done remotely. if somebody has never used TurboTax, it's okay. Really, all these tax softwares, they're pretty similar. We just need someone that has that tax knowledge to be able to help our customers out. So
I gotcha.
oh yeah. So our tax experts, that's our main thing that we are recruiting for right now.
So we're talking about the tax expert job right now. And if you're listening or watching, you can look over in our units. And in our units, that's going to be listed as the TurboTax Live specialist. And there is a link to the job description, and there is a link to book a phone interview with TurboTax.
Yay.
So just to recap what Karina's saying is they're mostly looking for, and this is their hot job, credentialed tax experts. So we're looking for certified public accountants, practicing attorneys, and enrolled agents. And Karina, one thing that I want to ask you is, if we're looking for these credentialed people, a lot of times they have their own business, and they may have their own small business, or they may be doing kind of their own freelance thing this time of year. So how are you helping small business owners, and how are you providing them that income opportunity? Is this a good fit for them?
Great question. Absolutely. They can still have their own business and still work for us. This is a great way for them to earn additional income and build their network as well. So we
great.
strongly encourage the small business owners to come give us a try.
Yes. So if you're a small business owner, working with TurboTax by Intuit could be a really great fit for you, because it's going to help you build your network and get more experience that you wouldn't normally have otherwise.
Absolutely.
So can we take a second? I want to read a few comments that are coming through. So let's see here. I clicked the wrong tab. Okay. Proud Persian says, it's important to me that a company gives back to the community. I believe that we all can help one another succeed by sharing the tools necessary. I love that Intuit is involved with the community and looks out for us military spouses. I love that too. All right. We have a question. Chumi asks, what are the requirements for the TurboTax experts?
Sure. So the credentials is the main thing, having that the CPA, enrolled agent, or practicing attorney, and then having at least a minimum of 3 years of tax preparation experience. That's what we ask for.
So a credential and 3 years of tax preparation experience, to recap for you. All righty. Okay. So, and Melissa, I saw your question, and Kirsten said she's going to tag you in the unit so you can get more information and you can move straight into booking your phone interview. All right. So our other position that we're chatting about tonight is the QuickBooks Live expert bookkeeper role, which I think a lot of the bookkeepers in our community are going nuts over, especially since you guys lifted the certification requirement. And you spoke on this briefly, but we've gotten several questions about it today. And just to bring everybody in the loop, will you describe what the QuickBooks expert bookkeeper's responsibilities are and what the requirements are for that role?
So I'll tell you, requirements, they really are looking for someone that's got at least 5 years of some type of experience using a tax preparation or bookkeeping software. With the credentials, I mean, that's something that we're going to, we'll provide the training on. Having a CPA is very, very helpful as well. But really, I'll tell you, for the most part, they're working one-on-one with the customers. They're helping them out. It's more of providing that guidance to the small business owners. So it's being the QuickBook, it's being an advisor, providing them that online experience, and just really, so it's helping self-employed and small business owners use the QuickBooks the software to kind of help alleviate what they may not have the bandwidth to do. So that's the job in a nutshell. I mean, there's a lot more to it, but that's in a nutshell.
Okay. No, that's very helpful. I think it's great for everyone to hear the specific amount of years of experience you're looking for. And you said 5, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
So if you have 5 years of bookkeeping experience and or a degree, because I did talk to one of the recruiters at Intuit who said they were accepting a master's degree and someone with just 2 years of work experience. So I think it's also going to be, if you feel like this is a good opportunity for you, you should put your name in the running. You should definitely put yourself out there and at least find out, that put yourself out there and chase this opportunity. And what's great is that Intuit, within your first 30 days of employment, they're going to help you get QuickBooks certified. And we were talking about that on the Facebook group for the past few weeks, because we were trying to help our bookkeeper community get liaised into that position. And initially, the requirement was you had to get certified on your own and then bring that to the table. But now they've lifted that. And I think that's just such an amazing thing for the VertForce community. It's going to be great for these people in our Facebook group and in our community. We do have a question. One of our users asks, what about internet requirements for the tax expert role? I am in a rural area and the best I can get is DSL.
So that's a great question. I'll tell you, we do have specific upload and download speeds. I don't have them memorized. So everyone does have to complete a diagnostic check, and that diagnostic check, we utilize a third-party vendor, and they're testing for internet speed. So typically the recruiters, when they're conducting that phone screen, they'll share those specific upload and download speeds. But what I will share is, so that everyone knows, is that satellite internet is not accepted, only because it's more for security reasons that the satellite internet does not support the Intuit platform when you're working remotely.
Is DSL satellite internet?
I'm not too certain. I think we'd be okay with DSL.
Okay. Yeah. So let me hop back into the chat here. I think that was that Gerald? Gerald, I think that was you, Gerald Ziegler. So the answer for you is go ahead and book a phone interview with TurboTax. We think that your internet speed is going to be approved, is going to be acceptable, but the recruiter that you conduct your phone interview with, that person will be able to provide you clear parameters and determine whether or not your internet works. I'm getting tongue-tied. Working through it. All right. All right.
These are great questions too.
They are great. And here's another one. So if you don't have a degree or experience, is it not worth it to apply? I was wanting to pursue the Pro Advisor certification. My answer to you would be absolutely go pursue the Pro Advisor certification. Yes. However, for this role, you're going to need either a degree or experience. Is that right, Karina?
Yes, correct.
Okay. So I'm sorry you don't have the needed experience immediately, but please go get that Pro Advisor certification. Let me see who commented that. My comment streams are running a little behind. I think Maria Victoria. Oh, Maria, hi. Maria Victoria, please go get that certification if you're considering a career in this field, because, potentially by this time next year, this could be a great opportunity for you if you start working on it today, this month. So our next question is, can you substitute education and relatable experience when one does not have direct tax preparation experience? I think that's probably a question for the recruiter that you're working with directly.
So I'm gonna tell you yes and no. So for that person, I would still encourage you to apply, because it really is all going to depend on what relatable experience you actually have, and have you done some kind of tax preparation. Everything too, you have to go through an interview process where the managers are asking specific questions, because also too, if someone has the customer service skill sets too, that's great. Like for example, if you've never used TurboTax, it's okay. It's easy to train.
Yeah.
Our training doesn't entail how to use TurboTax. It's more helping customers out with their tax questions. So I would still encourage you to apply. I don't want to say no, because you never know. What if your experience is something that we can definitely use?
Okay. So I can't see your name, so nameless for now. If you're curious about substituting education and relatable experience for the tax prep, go ahead and apply. Each circumstance is probably going to be unique. And also, something crossed my mind there when you were answering that. I'll come back to it if it comes back to me. How long does it typically take to get into a position?
So I can, that I'll tell you, really it all depends on how quickly the recruiter and the candidate that's applying can quickly schedule something. We use Calendly, and that's something that's really huge for us. Calendly is a very efficient way to manage our schedule, our appointments. So it really just depends on how quickly you can get in touch with the recruiter, the interview process. So I would say safe 1 to 2 weeks or less, because also too, when you talk to the recruiter but then talking to the managers and waiting for the managers to provide their schedule of availability to talk with them, and it also depends on when the next start date is. But we move fast, we move very relatively fast, so I'll tell you that. So if you see that there is a delay, our recruiters are pretty good about following up and explaining why there's a delay, or they could say, I'm so sorry, the manager's not available to interview yet. So we will keep you posted along the way. And if you don't hear from us, you please definitely reach out to the recruiter and say, FYI, it's been 3 days since I interviewed. I haven't heard back or anything. But I'll tell you, for the most part, we move fast because of the volume that we recruit at. So, every day, I don't want it to be wasted. So the quicker the better. So it really just depends.
Okay,
If
perfect.
that helps.
Hey, Kirsten, if you are watching, could you please go ahead and tag a few of these people in the unit and maybe post the links to apply in the chat? So just in case they have a hard time getting to the unit, especially for whomever commented about, let's see here, especially Gerald. We want to send Gerald Ziegler the links to apply, and then whoever commented about potentially exchanging education over experience. I think that may have been Shiva. All right, so we've got lots of questions rolling in. An additional one is, if I'm in the US now, but I have to PCS overseas, is it possible to keep this position?
I'll tell you, the answer is no, because our platform does not support anything outside of the US.
What about Hawaii and Alaska?
Hawaii and Alaska does count.
Okay, so yes, if you get sent to Hawaii or Alaska, you can keep the job. But for now, the other countries are not open. And a lot of that has to do with data security too, because you are working with financial data of US citizens. So a lot of that comes down to internet laws and SOFA regulations.
Right. But I will say we do have TurboTax in Canada. So if anybody resides in Canada, we have a specific recruiting team that handles the same thing as the US, but in Canada.
Oh, that's great. Good. Okay. So the United States, Canada, Hawaii, and Alaska. You're good. Okay. I'm just skimming the comments here, seeing if we've got any more questions. Yay to Hawaii. We got a yay to Hawaii. Okay, great. That's awesome. Let's see who said that. Marissa Wallace. Yeah, Marissa, are you interested in applying? Kirsten just posted the links to apply. She's posted the TurboTax Live, and she has posted the QuickBooks Live. And then Melissa Menisco just shared, for those of you who don't have work experience, I'd highly suggest this group. And then she shared a bookkeeping group where you can go and pick up some bookkeeping experience. Thanks, Melissa. We appreciate you sharing that resource.
That's awesome.
Okay. So I'm going to skim my notes really quick and see if we had any other questions that we wanted to hit tonight. If anybody has questions for Karina and about the hiring process with Intuit, now is a great time to put them in the comments. Karina, do you have anything else that you want to share with us about your role with Intuit or about these opportunities?
I'll tell you, somebody did ask a question if this is a seasonal position. So I will tell you that for the bookkeeper position, it's a year-round role. The tax expert, it's specifically only for the tax season. So it goes from January through April.
Great. So if you do work January through April, are you invited to come back the following January through April?
Great question. So it's all based on performance. So for the most part, a lot of our agents are repeat agents from
Mhm.
previous seasons. So they're or we call them rehires. So the former agents, they get first dibs at schedule preferences, all that good stuff. So they'll be the first ones that we call and reach out to and say, hey, your season ended in April. You're going to be welcome back for the next season. So yes.
Okay, nice. That's great.
Oh
So
yeah.
it's not like oh, we forget about you after
No,
you've
no.
helped us out
We
for
need
one
them.
season. No, we need you. Come back.
Yes.
That's awesome. Oh, let's talk about the live video component because I know
Sure.
that can shy some people away, but there's really no reason to be afraid of live video or uncomfortable with it. Do you want to kind of give me
Yes.
your experience with it?
Absolutely. So I'll tell you this backdrop that I'm using right now. This was one from 2 years ago, but every agent does receive equipment. So that's something that I will bring up. So tax experts, we send you an Intuit laptop, a backdrop, you get a video camera and a
Wow.
headset. So all of the phone calls, they are done through Amazon Connect. So the Intuit
Mhm.
laptop, you'll do the training through the Intuit laptop. Amazon Connect is just really a web browser that you'll use for the phone call. So they'll be routed through on your queue whenever you're signed in. The managers will know. Same thing for training. So everything's done through there. Now, with the video feed, agents are not allowed to turn the camera off. We want to make sure that it's on and available for our customers. And it's really the size of a quarter. It's more like a headshot. So they're just going to see the face and then the
Yes.
backdrop behind you. Now, it's
Mhm.
only up to the customer if they want to turn off the video. But for the most part, the feedback that we get, customers love the video feed because they feel like it's a very personable conversation where they're actually talking to someone live and looking at them and saying, Kimber, this is the problem that I have and I need your help. And some feedback we have received is that the customers, they when they're mad, they don't have the heart to yell at somebody like right there on video. So
Oh,
they're much
yeah,
nicer.
absolutely. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. So it's people love the video feature. I mean, yes, we've had some individuals or agents that are not comfortable on video. I will tell you that it is a requirement for the job. For those that are not comfortable on video, we do offer a limited position. It's more of a community type of online chat. Those positions are very limited and they fill up very fast. So if those positions are open at the time that we're talking to someone, we can refer them to go ahead and apply for that role. But for the most part, it's just a couple hundred that we'll hire for that online community chat group. But everything else is just really on video.
Absolutely. Well, I think being on video is almost like a protection mechanism too, because I'm sure it's recorded if anything ever were
Yes,
to go
absolutely.
wrong, right? And just everybody who is watching, I'm a TurboTax customer, so I have used the tax expert service before. I used it last year and I think the year before that too. And the experience for me as a client is just this little guy popped up in a little box on my screen. I forget his name, but it was cool. He couldn't see me, which was fine because I was in my pajamas, but he was just sitting at his desk and explaining things to me, just talking to his computer like his computer was me. And it gave me a different experience as a customer. I felt more connected to him. I trusted him more. And I wasn't looking at the stuff around him. I wasn't looking at what he looked like. I was just more interested in being a part of the conversation. So don't let the live video component make you uncomfortable. We invite you to ask questions about it if you have any questions or concerns. All right. We have one question about IT experience. Do you want me to pull that one up?
Sure.
I have 4 years of IT experience, highly skilled in Office, and 8 years of customer service experience. Would this be relevant to the requirements for the bookkeeping role?
I'm going to say if it all really will depend on looking at your resume. I don't want to say yes or no. I don't ever want to discourage someone to apply just because you never know. But I'll tell you, if you meet at least just the main requirements that are listed on the job description, I would say go ahead and apply.
Right. And then you can see the job description. We have the link to the job description posted in our units, in our hiring partner FAQ about Intuit. It'll take you straight to our job board so you can read the full job description. And if you'd like to go ahead and apply, then you can also use the second link in that description, which will take you to book a phone interview with Intuit. All right, everybody, if you've got any more questions for Karina, now is the time to get them in. Karina, is there anything else you'd like to share with the community tonight?
No, I'm just excited about this tax season. It already started, so it's already busy for us. But thank you very much for having me tonight. I really do appreciate it. It's been a pleasure. Whatever I can do to help people out, and please, you guys, apply.
Yes, apply.
Give us a chance.
Yes, and we had one last question.
Sure.
Do we have set hours for these two positions?
Great question. So for the QuickBooks one, I will tell you that because it is part-time between 20 to 29 hours a week, that one, the operating hours are Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Pacific. For the tax expert, it's a minimum of 20 hours a week. However, we are operating 7 days a week between 5 a.m. and 9 p.m. Pacific. So there's a broader range of the available work schedules between that time frame. Now, even though we're asking for a minimum commitment of 20 hours a week, you can sign up to work more hours. 20 is just the minimum, and it's kind of funky because it's in a 4-hour block shifts. And like I said, you can sign up for more during peak. So that's usually at the beginning of February and all of April. There is no limit on how many hours you can actually work.
I love that. So Jennifer, does that answer your question? And everyone who's watching and listening, if you are going to go apply for Intuit, give us some thumbs up in the chat. Give us some emojis in the chat so we can see who's going to apply. Proud Persian says, we appreciate you taking the time to provide us this information.
You're welcome.
While we're wrapping up here, I wanted to briefly kind of recap the full picture. And I also wanted to include and let everybody know these are W-2 positions. So if you are in California, this is a W-2 position. Or if you're on the West Coast, these are Pacific Standard Time friendly positions. Right, Karina?
Yes.
Awesome. So recapping the full picture here, 2 positions available. QuickBooks Live Expert Bookkeeper is the first position. TurboTax Live Tax Expert is the second position. Both of these are W-2 salary positions. We are looking for people with experience in bookkeeping, certified public bookkeepers, certified public accountants, practicing attorneys, and enrolled agents. If you do not have a specific certification, but you are interested in pursuing the bookkeeping position, if you have at least 5 years experience in bookkeeping or a degree related to accounting or finance, you should definitely apply for that role. All right. Am I leaving anything out, Karina?
Nope, you're good.
All right.
Covered it.
So that's our wrap up for this evening, everyone. Please send Karina off with some warm love, and I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye. Karina, have a great night. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You too. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thanks.
All right, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that Facebook Live with Karina from Intuit. I know we absolutely enjoyed having her on. Intuit is 100% a pleasure to work with. Their team is so helpful, and they really do care about providing viable remote work opportunities. We're going to keep rolling because we have other opportunities to share with you tonight. I see some comments coming in, though. Sarah Benares says, amazing. Thank you, Karina and Kimber. Sarah, hey, I know you're applying. I saw your application roll through. Yeah, if you guys are applying with Intuit, throw some emojis in the comments. And if you are ready to hear our next 2 opportunity alerts, we invite you to put some gold stars in the chat. That's our new thing since we have this opportunity alert banner on the bottom of our screen with gold stars coming out of it. If you are ready to hear our next opportunity alerts, just throw a gold star. I'm going to get them pulled up on my screen while I wait for everybody to adjust, switch gears. We're moving into our next topic. bear with me while I change my screens. And I may actually share screen with you because why not? Why not talk about them together? Let me get the job listings pulled up. All right, Caitlin says, gold star, I'm ready. Okay, Caitlin, I got you, girl. I'm logging into our job board and it's showing me my administrator view, and I want to show you the user view because that's more user-friendly, right? Okay, so I'm going to share screen with you now. Okay, I'm seeing tons of gold stars now. Thank you for bearing with me, Dory, Jennifer. Ooh, fun name. Urayli. That's beautiful. And Sarah. Everybody's throwing up those gold stars. All right, let's move on to our next opportunity alert. I am going, oh, by the way, how do you guys like my little setup back here? I got these cool LED lights and just kind of plugged them in this week to kind of match our space superhero vibe that we're running with on the VertForce page. Let me know what you think in the comments, and while you do that, I am pulling up the job board. Oh, okay. Here we go. Taysa says she loves it. Kirsten says she loves the lights. Yay, glad you girls love it. Okay, so you should all be able to see my screen, and I'm headed over to the job board. The first opportunity alert for this evening is the code researcher position that hit our job board bright and early this morning, just in time for our Tuesday job file and just in time to celebrate Tuesday all together. This one, the first thing I want to tell you is do not mistake code for HTML web language, because the first time I heard about this position, I thought code, like computer code? No. Code researcher is someone who is going to research municipal government codes on a project basis. So let me tell you a little bit about the position. The first thing I want to point out is the office setting. A quiet office is not required for this position. What does that mean? That means you can probably have your children at home while you're working this role. All right, I know that's important to a lot of you. This position also has no education or degree requirements. I talked to the business owner. She said, I started this business with just a high school education. I have 27 employees and we have a thriving business. I do not care if my team members have an education or not. I care about their drive to work, their ability to do good work, their ability to follow directions, and their ability to work on a timeline, work on a deadline. So who here is looking for a position where I'm going to head over to the Facebook page here so I can see the comments, where maybe your education doesn't matter and where maybe you can have your kids at home while you're doing it? Give me a hands up in the comments if that's you. All right, so that's the code researcher position, and let's chat about this one for a minute. It is project-based pay. It is a 1099 role. So what does that mean? 1099 means you're an independent contractor. It also means you'll be responsible for your own taxes, which is not hard. We have a whole unit in this Facebook group about taxes and being a 1099 team member. And it means that the role is not an hourly pay. It's not a salary pay, but it is project pay, which means every project you're assigned is going to have a budget and you are guaranteed to be paid that budget. And the project pay is going to range from $15 to $50 per project. I talked to the hiring manager, and she said that the average pay is $25 per project, and the average amount of time it takes to complete a project is, had a hiccup, 1 hour and 15 minutes. So that means you're making about $25 an hour in this role. I also asked her to explain the role to me a little better because I was struggling a little bit to understand it, right? I have never done construction work before. I've never done any kind of, building work before. So this didn't make a lot of sense to me. I'm going to pull your comment up on the screen, Carol. I think that was Carol. Yeah, Carol Ebenall. That sounds fantastic for this homeschooling mama. Yeah, Carol, this would be a great position for you if you're schooling from home. So let's talk about what you would do in the role. And I believe I put down a pretty descriptive. Okay, here it is. The main responsibility of the code researcher is to work with city government officials to research jurisdiction, zoning, and collect the code for each project in order to appropriately complete the code check form. To make this even easier for you, your job is to accept a Google Sheet form from your employer, which is you accepting the project. Look for the codes that are needed on the sheet. Call the city government where the project is being held. Ask them what the appropriate codes are, and then you fill in the sheet with the right codes. Then you finish your project and you send it back to your manager. If chosen, your job is to provide effective, clear, and concise communication between city government and the code research team. It is typical for the code researcher to be balancing multiple deadlines and multiple projects at any given time. You can have and accept as many projects if you want. If you want to do 10 a week, you can do 10 a week. If you want to do 5 a week, you can do 5 a week. If you want to do 80 a week, you can do 80 a week. There is unlimited earning potential here. All right, if you've got questions about this position, Carol and Amanda, I know you two both commented that you were interested in it. Go ahead and drop your questions in the chat now. I definitely want you to apply. This is a great position for anyone who does not have an education, or even if you do have an education, it's not that you don't have to have an education to be required for this position or to be applicable for this position. But we have so many team members and so many VertForce members who are looking for that opportunity that's going to let them work remotely from home, that's going to let them break into the virtual workforce without having to have a degree. And this is it. This is a great experience and something that's going to let them work while their kids are asleep, so they don't have to put their kids in childcare. Let's see here. So this is it. This is your opportunity. This is what you've been waiting on. Heather Townsend says, I'm interested. Amanda asks, are the locations nationwide or in a particular time zone? Amanda, they are nationwide. So I talked to the hiring manager about time zones. Are we OCONUS friendly? She said one of her most successful team members is in Hawaii, and that team member has to make up a 6-hour difference on days that she has to call the East Coast. So for example, say one of your projects, the client is opening a new gym in Baltimore, Maryland, and they're going to build a new gym in Baltimore, Maryland, but you live in Hawaii. If you accept that project, you've got to schedule time on your calendar where you can pick up the phone and call the Baltimore, Maryland city government during business hours so that you can ask them what the appropriate building codes are for where that gym wants to be built. And then once you receive the codes, you plug them into your project, and then you submit your project to your manager. So does that answer your question, Amanda? And do we have other questions about this role? So it is absolutely OCONUS friendly. And it is absolutely something you can do from the Pacific Standard Time, but do know that you may have to do some work on Eastern Standard Time. All right, I'm looking at the comments here and I don't see any. If you are all ready to move on to our fourth opportunity alert of the evening, put some gold stars in the chat. I'm going to take a few sips of my LaCroix while we transition. So that position is on our job board. And I believe Kirsten a few moments ago posted the link to apply. And if you're ready to move on to the next opportunity alert, go ahead and throw a gold star in the chat so I know everybody's ready. If you still have questions, we can talk about this one some more. All right, getting lots of gold stars, getting tons of gold stars. Okay, so we will move on to the next one. It's Tuesday. So this is what I want. Can we please, does everyone remember that Rebecca Black song, Friday? It was just this random girl who came out with a single. It was like, it's Friday, Friday, gotta get down on Friday. Na, 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 na. I want someone to redo that song, but make it Tuesday because VertForce gets down on Tuesdays. So if you're great with audio, make that happen for me, please. All right, so the final opportunity alert for the evening is for a recruiter. All right, this position is on our job board. It also released early this morning, seeing lots of gold stars. Good deal, gold stars, gold stars. All right. This position also released this morning. And we have already had an overwhelming amount of applicants interested in it. So if you do want to apply, go ahead and get your application in. I'm concerned that we may have to close the window or shorten the window, but don't let me scare you at all. Don't get into a panic. If you're interested in applying, absolutely apply. We want to see your application come through. So let's talk about this. This is with another strategic partner. And the compensation and benefits for this role, it is W-2, which means you do not have to take care of your own taxes. It is also project-based, and that's a really common theme. You're going to see that in a lot of remote-based roles because the work typically tends to lean itself towards particular tasks, and completing the tasks earns you a specific rate. So this is a project-based role. The hiring manager says that depending on the speed of the team member, how quickly you work, the pay is roughly $15 to $25 per hour. And compensation is based on the amount of projects they receive per month, but compensation can range anywhere from $300 to $1,000 per month. I believe she said sitting closer to $500 per month, but that's kind of your general range of how much you would make in this role. All right, so let's talk about some of the requirements and what the role is. So as a recruiter, you're going to be managing employment partner relationships. I'm going to highlight this so you can see that, while delivering high quality services. So the services include helping the employer identify the correct behavioral profile of their ideal candidate, assisting the employer in developing pre-screening processes for onboarding new team members, and managing both the intake and evaluation of applicants. So basically what you're doing in this role is you are working with individuals who are trying to hire and onboard. You're working with businesses who are looking for new team members. And your job is to help them identify what they want in a candidate and then help them find that candidate and pair them with the candidate that's best suited for them. The hiring manager did say the recruiter position is ideal for someone who's already at home. So a stay-at-home mom looking to earn extra income, or someone already working from home in another role and wants to pick up an additional job. So this job is not going to work for someone who is already committed to a 9-to-5 office role. And we don't recommend that you leave a full-time job to be considered for this role unless you're seeking to move to part-time. But I know she stated she's had applicants apply who wanted to try to perform this role on top of their 40-hour-a-week job, and that arrangement was not going to work. So that takes me back to the office setting. So let's talk about the office setting. A quiet office will be required for approximately 2 to 5 hours per week, and all other work can be done in any setting permitted the candidate information is protected and not used or shared on public Wi-Fi. So basically what the hiring manager said is a few hours a week, we do need the candidate to be in a quiet office. So if the candidate has children at home, we're in a situation where the candidate would need to find a way to have a phone conversation with a potential client or with a client privately without kids in the background. Okay, so let me hop over and check our comments because I've been talking for just a bit. Okay. Irayiza Maria says she received an email about the position today and has already applied. Awesome. Let's see here. I'm going to pull that one on screen. Do we have any additional questions about the recruiter position? I'm skimming here. All right, let's talk about the qualifications. College degree is required. HR experience is required. Relationship management experience like customer service and client management is required. Some other requirements include some basic technology and the ability to understand and learn new technology. And here are some bonuses. These are not required, but it is a big bonus if you have a master's degree. It's not required, but it's also a big bonus if you have recruiting experience, if you have WordPress experience, and if you have process development experience. And then the responsibilities are listed in full detail here. Again, this is on the job board, and this should be in your email. We release all of our jobs to the job board and to the email list first before we do these live streams. So if you are not on the email list or you are not on the job board, girl, you got to get on the email list or you got to get on the job board. Okay, so that's everything on my end for opportunity alerts. Are there education requirements? Let me double check. College degree required. It does not specify associate's degree or unit or 4-year degree. So if you have an associate's degree, I would say go ahead and apply because it just says college. Let's check the other comments. And I don't see any. I don't see any additional comments. So if it's okay with you, I'm going to go ahead and switch gears. If you are ready for the next segment of our show, throw in, I don't know, what emoji do you want to do? You want to do a smiley face emoji or a poop emoji? Something fun. If you have the rocket emoji, put the rocket emoji in your comment. And I'm going to go ahead and switch to the Resource Rocket segment because we are giving away a free resource tonight. And I have to just remember how to switch my graphics. And these graphics are so cute, aren't they? Gigi Moku made these graphics. And we just really appreciate everything she's done for our group. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the new one. Oh, yeah. All right. So we have switched gears. We have switched segments. We are now in the Resource Rocket segment. Hope you like our rocket. I showed my husband the rocket, And oh, thanks, Jennifer. Thank you, Kirsten, for putting the rockets in. I showed my husband the rocket, and girls, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you what he did. I don't see it. And I was like, it's right there to the left. And he said, "Oh, I thought there was something blocking your screen." I was like, "No, this is the resource rocket." All right, so I'm going to make this quick. We have been streaming for 54 minutes, and it is my goal to be finished in under an hour. We'll probably go over an hour tonight, but that's okay. All right, we have 3 resources for you tonight. The last one is going to be how to ace your virtual interview in under 30 minutes, and that is the free resource we're giving away. But before I jump into that, I want to bring up 2 conferences that I think it is important for you to know about and attend. And if you want to attend, I've got discount codes for you. So last week, we brought on James Van Pruin, who is the creator of the Military Podcast Network. And he's also on the board for Military Creator Con, which is sponsored by MCDC. He invited me to be on the board of Military Creator Con, which con stands for conference if you're not up on the conference lingo. But I am on the board for Military Creator Con, and this event is the entryway into it's a back door, so to speak, into Podfest. So if you're into Podfest, if you're into podcasts, if you're into creating audio content or doing kind of shows like what we're doing here, or maybe you want to learn how to do this and you don't know how to do it yet, you've got to go to this conference. It's in excuse me, it is in Orlando, Florida this year. The website is militarycreatorcon.com. And we are giving away a ticket. And if you don't win the ticket, no problem. We also have a discount code that will give you half off. And down here, you can see some of the speakers and some of the creators of the event. There's me with the VertForce podcast. Russ Barnes, veteran, dear friend, does business coaching with me, has, really poured into my life and helped shape what VertForce is going to be in 2020. Love him. Cannot wait to see him speak. James Van Pruin, dear friend, met him at MCDC. We've been buddies ever since. It's going to be a great event. Avery Skiparis, Skips Tactical Solutions. Bad woman right here. Let me just say, she is killer. She teaches firearm use and handling and tactical handling, and she's just kind of like everything I want to be when I grow up. And then there's Chris Kremitzos, who's actually the creator of Podfest. Podfest is in its 6th or 9th year of running. It's the second largest podcasting conference in the United States. And then Jeffrey Lodick, great friend, people I've been working with to get this conference going. So if you are interested in going, let me put the details in the chat. And then we will go ahead and move on to the next conference. The next conference I want you to be aware about is the Military Women's Conference. This is for you if you are a woman, if you are a veteran, a reservist, active duty, or a military spouse. This event is the first week of February in Tampa, Florida, and I have the distinct honor of speaking at this event, but I am not the only one. Does anyone recognize Dr. Sonia Stribling from Bravo or TBN? This beautiful woman, very empowering woman, is going to be the keynote speaker at the Military Women's Conference, and I encourage you to consider going to this event. I also have a discount code if you are interested in going that I'm happy to share with you. The tracks for this specific conference are going to be technology, career and transition, nonprofits, and advocacy. I will be speaking on the career and transition track, talking about purpose and virtual work and virtual communities. And I hope that you will attend. If you do come, please stop and see me. I will buy you a cup of coffee. All right. So while I bring the resources into the comments for you, In the comments, I am going to drop in the Military Creator Con discount code, the ticket giveaway link, and then I'm just going to tell you, if you want to go to Military Women's Conference and you want these discounts, please PM me. So there's Military Creator Con, and then this is going to be Military Women's, and then we're going to jump right into giving away the How to Ace Your Virtual Interview course. Give me just one moment to get these resources dropped in the chat for you because I love you guys. Okay, where did it go? Where did it go? Where did it go? All right, let's do this. I lost my, no, there it is. No. Okay, it's going to take me too long to find the code for Military Women's Conference, but if you want to go, just send me a private message and I'll give it to you. All right. Who's ready for how to ace your virtual interview? Throw me some emojis in and let's go ahead and jump right into that. This is going to be so quick and so simple. So the gist is I created a video course. It is only 3 videos long and it is designed for you to finish in under 30 minutes. The video course is called How to Ace Your Virtual Interview. I'm going to give you the link to sign up for it right now. The link is aceit.respond.entreport.net. And what's going to happen is when you are ready to prepare for your next interview, you're going to be able to jump into our How to Ace Your Virtual Interview course totally free. And you'll be able to guide yourself through the 4 videos to prepare for your virtual interview. So there it is. That's it. And I'm making it fast because we are 8 minutes over tonight. We've been streaming for an hour and 8 minutes. So we're going to go ahead and cut it off. If you have questions about how to ace your virtual interview or the 2 conferences we talked about in tonight's Resource Rocket segment, please feel free to private message me or anyone on the VirtForce team. Thank you so much for watching, especially if you hung on from the very beginning. You're amazing and I love you. And I hope that you got as much out of this tonight as I did. All right. Happy Tuesday night, everybody. Have a wonderful evening. Bye-bye.